as we all know that GitOps has gone mainstream, but the real challenge isn't just deploying code. The real challenge is in promoting it across environments at scale. Equity just hit 5 years with record growth, over 100 customers, 43 million deployments, and new AI-powered intelligence built into the platform itself. And today I have with us Wang, co-founder and CEO of Akuity, to talk about the company. Before we get started, first of all, thanks for joining me. Now, talk a bit about the company, your co-founder. What reason, what problem you saw in the ecosystem that led you to create the company?
Yeah, it's actually a long story in short. Is we created the open source project to solving the very practical problem as the GitOps solution to deploy to the Kubernetes cluster at Intuit actually. So when we are building a community, the community getting bigger and bigger, we have more enterprise customers are coming to us at the community to say, hey, I want you guys to help us because we want to have exactly the Intuit experience in a large scale to manage many clusters. That's why we decided, okay, there is a business opportunity. We can help more others. Let's create this company called Akuity to be the enterprise software delivery platform for everyone. So that's kind of our story. So in the end, we are focused on a very practical problem. People adopting Kubernetes, people adopting the Kubernetes on a large scale. And you need automation. You need a software to managing those clusters properly in the end.
And how old is the company?
The company is almost like 5 years old. However, me and my co-founder has been working on Argo project for 10 years.
Since you mentioned Argo, so talk about Argo and Argo for people who are not familiar with it. And also, I mean, if you look at today, everybody's talking about AI, agentic AI, So I want to understand the foundational technologies, and then we'll talk about the evolution that you have seen, which also explain the evolution of the company itself.
Makes sense. That's a very good question. So Argo CD or Argo project is started around like 2016, 2017. And that was the Kubernetes just born. So we are using the Argo to solving a lot of the application delivery problem, deployment problem to the cluster at that time. And it was the idea about, okay, you have thousands of the engineers doesn't know about Kubernetes at all. So what's the best way to let them to be exposed about the Kubernetes, to learn about the Kubernetes and learn about the concept idea in the proper way, and also be able to deploy into the cluster in a very reliable manner. So the concept came out from the community is actually called GitOps. Basically, you treat the configuration as the Git, like source code. So every time you want to deploy something, it's not like you're trying to click the button. You're actually writing the YAML like source code. And then there's some other solution or automation where taking the source code of the YAMLs, deploy to the cluster, and doing the reconcile continuously. The answer for that solution is actually Argo CD. So Argo CD right now has about a 60% adoption across all the Kubernetes cluster by the CNCF survey from 2025. It's already the most popular GitOps deployment tool for the Kubernetes. Clear winner there. So that's kind of a little bit of story there. So we are the original creator, and we created Akuity to be the company actually help more people to adopting the solution. But definitely we are actually growing out of that also. Like Argo CD is kind of like our mode, is our foundation, but we are also adding the promotion capability, adding the AI capability on top. So Kargo is our newest open source project we announced about 2 years ago. Right now it's kind of like getting a massive adoption here. I think we have this like observation at the KubeCon is everyone came to our booth. They normally say, they only like look at us, oh, we are the creator of the Argo and the Kargo, great. And they more and more people talking to us to say, hey, we are starting using Kargo now. So we have this question. I think that's a good traction for us. We're seeing the Kargo adoption is getting bigger and bigger. So the focus on the environmental promotion, it's working with the Kargo, working with Argo CD closely. So in high level, in a nutshell, is Argo CD is focused on the single environment deployment. But it doesn't care about the multiple environment, how they are promoting and orchestrate together. So Kargo is focused on the orchestration. Is okay, you deploy something to the dev. How you move the same thing to the staging, to the production. And Kargo is doing that. And then now we also supporting not just Kubernetes, we are supporting Terraform, we are supporting VM, we are supporting serverless. Basically, we are providing this more like a generic promotion engine for the people to manage their infrastructure now. That has been very well received by the people here. So when we are sharing this news to them, they say, yeah, we want to use it. So that's what they are thinking about, how they should deliver stuff in the production in a more controlled way, with more governance there.
I'm also kind of impressed with the kind of traction and option you folks have. 43 million deployments, more than 100 customers. What is driving that growth, especially in the AI infrastructure space?
So two things. Number one is actually a big background story is the Kubernetes getting everywhere. So
getting everywhere? I think it's everywhere. Kubernetes is everywhere.
Kubernetes is everywhere. Actually, I hear about restaurant is using Kubernetes to powering the local experience in edge location. Like we have a customer at the Major League Baseball, they are running the Kubernetes in every ballpark. And we are managing deploying apps to all the ballparks properly. Then right now, even for the AI, so the AI, you can hear a lot of story about OpenAI, Anthropic. You are asking, hey, what is used to manage the infrastructure? It's actually Kubernetes. The Kubernetes manage like thousands of the nodes there. I think why we're getting that momentum, or why we see that growth is because Kubernetes is getting so popular. Right. Kubernetes is becoming the backbone system for the AI also, for the AI training, for the AI inferencing. So you can tell like our biggest customer is actually the CoreWeave, a AI hyperscaler right now. And they're basically using us to deploy to their customers. To manage their customer clusters. And as they are scaling up, as they has more and more AI application to be deployed, we see like 10x growth last year regarding the deployment frequency. It's just like there's so many clusters we are managing, there are so many apps we are managing, and every app is starting to deploy more frequently. Then we see the like skyrocketing number of the deployment frequency.
You gave some example that so I'm also curious, if possible, if you can share some use cases, case studies where they are using, Akuity or your technologies, just to get a sense of where it's being used and how it's being used, even in the cases you never envisioned.
Yeah, I mean, let's start with the boring one. So multi-cloud is very popular. Means someone is using AWS, using Azure. They also have some cluster on-prem. So they want to have a unified solution, be able to managing all the application across all three different environments. So we do providing the out of the box, like a very easy off-the-shelf box solution, very easily to manage the cluster very easily. That's the boring one. Then we saw, as I mentioned, is we see some like edge location. So for example, it's the paint store. They are selling the paint. And they have so many franchise like stores, like they may have like thousands of stores across the United States. So they do running a small like Kubernetes cluster in the individual store to powering like a checkout system, like a advertisement system, ordering system. That's kind of like a local application running inside the store. However, they want to be able to centralize the managing those applications across the continent. Means they are using us as the way to managing thousands of clusters. So give you an example. For example, okay, today is a Black Friday. So I want to give you a discount to all the US West states. So rather than you making the call to every store to say, hey, today we need to give you a discount, like you give it 50% off. What they're doing is they're pushing a configuration to all the clusters in the West region. That's it. So the clerk or the staff doesn't even do anything.
Automatically.
They just like scan it. Oh, it's 50 off today. Great. That's it. It's like a centralized management. So I want to talk one more very, very great use case is, I think you flew here, right? So in the commercial airplane, a newer one, they are running Kubernetes clusters now. So we do have some customers using us to managing the application inside of the commercial airplane. The same story. It's just like a flying edge location. It's a flying store. Again, on the airplane, you have entertainment system, you have ordering system, you have all the small things here and there. Non-mission critical one. Those systems also need to be maintained, upgraded, monitored. So they're running Kubernetes, they're using our software to managing the cluster fleet of them.
If you ask somebody this same question like 6 years ago, they're like, no, Kubernetes, you will not find Kubernetes in those.
No, they will feel they will have some special
Yeah.
like system there. No, right now the Kubernetes is everywhere.
Yeah, that also reminds us the Linux kernel. Initially Linux started to solve its own problem, and we had no idea. And now it's not only the tiniest device; it's on Mars. It's in the
everywhere.
submarines in the ocean. It's like literally everywhere. So
It's a perfect observation. It's like we do think the Linux is the operating system for the single machine. Kubernetes is the operating system for the cluster. Correct.
Yeah. How are teams looking at the whole GitOps or the whole Argo in the AI era, where how to deploy, how to write, and how to manage code? What are you seeing? How teams are looking at it?
Yeah, I think there are two parts. I think number one is actually thinking about what is the AI really good at right now is writing the code. So what is code? Code is GitOps. Basically, our YAML or our Kubernetes configuration, by adopting the GitOps concept right now, which is very common, is basically already in the repository, already in the code. That means it's providing a very solid and direct way for the AI to starting to managing the infrastructure or managing the application lifecycle. Means, okay, you just change the YAML in the Git, and Argo CD will do the job to sync it and help you to deploy it properly with automation. That's already given. That's a very already validated pattern. So it means it's already like a plugged in for the AI. On the second part is about we are talking about Kubernetes users. We are talking about people attending here. It's mostly like they are platform team, SRE team. So typically their day-to-day life is, okay, they're trying to run your application and also babysit your application, ensure everything's running fine. So what do we see the trend is the AI is fundamentally started challenging the code deployment, code development. And now we are thinking about for the deployment, for the maintenance, I think AI is playing a substantial role like day by day. So, what is my job if I'm an SRE? Every day I'm like staring at the logs, events, manifest. I try to figure out when something's broken. So what is the root cause? How do I fix it? So actually with the AI's help, we actually build something to solving that demand is in the Argo CD, in the Kargo, we actually added this AI Rumble and AI SRE capability is rather than the human to zoom in all the information, we let the AI to actually digest all the information, getting the conclusion, also factoring the input from the user as the Rumble. Basically, you want to tell the AI what's your preference to fixing certain issue, what's the symptom, what's the solution. Then we can take in the action automatically or with the human in the loop. Different approach, either way works. So that's kind of like we think in the future is the AI is going to more like driving a lot of the troubleshooting for the day-to-day life.
And since you also mentioned, of course, platform engineering and SREs, and if you look at the industry today, what are some of the trends that you are seeing how platform teams are building and scaling their delivery pipeline, where you also see the changes, evolution, because the workloads are changing. And while we are using AI as a tool, we can also look at AI as a workload, and you're adding new workload to your pipeline as well. So what kind of trends are you seeing for platform engineering and SRE teams?
So I think number one is the platform team definitely kind of like thinking about, hey, a lot of our customers are running the inferencing load. So typically they want to deploy their model, customized model, or fine-tune the model. So it's kind of like a unique new workload that we have to kind of handle and deploy to the Kubernetes cluster with the GPU attached. So that's common, that's growing, and we see more and more demand for that, for sure. On the other side, definitely, is what we see is AI already make every engineer to be more efficient. So means originally you have 5 engineer, example, you can fixing 5 issues a week or 20 features a week like that. Right now, AI is making every engineer to be at least 3 times more efficient. So what we're seeing is like more applications being built and more changes are going to release to the cluster, to the runtime. That we see that a lot of the, I would say the pressure shift is like there's more demand for automation, more demand for deployment, and more frequently they are deploying things to their production environment. That's where we see the growth and where we see the AI is a kind of like the trend, like a challenge, like a, in a good way, make everyone to be like more efficient, producing more, fixing more, and generate more value to their customers.
As more and more code is generated by AI, what kind of challenges you feel for the delivery teams?
I do think it's always creating both like challenges and opportunity at the same time. So it means the AI is definitely adding more burden and challenging on the SRE team and the platform team because they have more work to do. They see more changes, more releases, more changes to the production. On the other side, I also see the opportunity on the other side is AI can really play a substantial role to make their life even happier, even better. Because AI can really help you to efficiently to looking at vast number of the data, vast number of the signal, trying to distill what is really like important and what is matters, what is root cause, those things. So I do think it's existing on both ways. I do think it's more important for people to be open-minded, actually starting to prototype and trying out what's the AI capability. I do think like it happens to our team also. Like we are a small like startup team. We have like 25 engineers. Like every time I sit down with my engineer team, nowadays is every day is talking about AI. They're just like so impressed about A, so impressed by B. They said it cannot do C, but oh yeah, it can do it. It's actually 75% there. Sure, there is some small gap, but it's working. So it makes their life way, way better and way, way more easier now. And they feel they are definitely like, I want to say like the Superman feeling, but they do feel that they are never being blocked by like needed to code it up something. It's more like it's easier for them to run through all ideas, getting a prototype, getting the POC, and eventually get fine-tune or fine working it to get into the finish line. They feel that is kind of getting much more smoother now. So it's game changing for everyone.
And if I'm not wrong, you folks have also added Akuity Intelligence with agentic capabilities to detect, diagnose, and resolve delivery issues. How does that change day-to-day life of platform teams, SRE teams?
So it's
and also talk a bit about what you have built also.
Yeah. We basically build this agentic experience, basically help you doing the like triaging, remediation, and the verification. It's kind of like whole loop. Is we know when something happened, we know what to look to get into the bottleneck. We know what is the right solution to fix something. We can take the action in the automatic fashion, and we can verify the result in the end. It's kind of like a closed loop thing for the agentic experience. So what we are seeing that is, I actually have an example. We actually published our article with you guys like last year. So there was a AWS instance last year. It's caused by DynamoDB or DNS issue. So we got affected also because we're running on our infrastructure on AWS. So our Docker registry was broken. So, but we do have a backup. So our engineer got a wake up, pager duty call, wake up at 1 a.m. So then we started looking at the issue. Oh, image pull back off. So this registry cannot be taking the image now. So the guy will say, hey, we can just switch over to our backup. That's fine. He fixed it. He went back to sleep. 5 minutes later, another pager duty call. A different application, exactly the same symptom. So he said, no, I don't want like stay up the whole night to fixing all those issues. What he did is he started to writing this rumble. Human readable rumble, only 2 lines. Symptom, image pullback off error from Docker registry A. Solution, override the registry A to be registry B. Okay, apply. Apply to all the applications of my infrastructure. So what happened is there's another 20 more cases over the night for exactly the same symptom, same problem. And my engineer didn't wake up anymore. Because AI just took the job. AI said, oh, I look at what's going on. I look at what should be solution. He did the override automatically. And in the morning, sure, we look at it, oh, AI actually took the action like 25 times or 20 sometimes. Then we know it's safe. Basically, we know we ask the AI to do exactly what we want. That's a game changing for them and for us in the end.
The amount of work AI is doing, as long as you know what you're doing,
Yes.
AI is a very powerful tool,
Yes.
but you need to be a good operator as well. So every time I hear people talk about AI slop and all those things, I'm like, you have no clue what it is capable of doing and what it is already doing. So sometimes it feels like frustration to look at how much it is doing. You're looking at 1% mistakes, but you're not looking at 90% right things in there. And the amount of time it is saving, amount of resources it is saving, and also it is making developer more efficient.
Yes.
Because as you said, you are not losing your sleep, which means you are fresh next day, which means you can be more innovative and creative. You're not chasing a problem, you are building something better.
Exactly. Like in this particular case I just shared it's a well-known issue, well-documented issue. So you are not even learning something new from like resolving that issue.
Exactly.
More like if you well understood the problem, why not let AI to do the autopilot and the autonomous like fix there?
Yeah.
On the other side, I also see that is we are not seeing that AI will took over all the work.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, are we thinking the man, like human, has providing a very substantial value here? As I said, the action to take in is actually not AI come up with some random idea. Hey, here's the way I will fix it. It's actually coming from the runbook,
right?
Which written by the human or certified by the human, means we want more like AI to give us a more deterministic result. That's why when we design our AI SRE capability, we won't have that runbook. We want the human to get involved, to getting their opinion, getting their preference, to be passing that as the additional context to the AI to make things happen.
Wang, thank you so much for joining me and of course share your insights. I love the whole AI angle here,
Okay.
And also the problem that you're solving for platform engine teams, SRE team, and of course AI is a big thing either way.
Yeah.
But a lot of work is going on in this space. You folks are doing a lot of work in this space, so I would love to have you back on the show again to talk more about what Akuity is doing. But I really, really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Happy to have it. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Yeah.